Hey everybody, welcome to the Coach Martin Show. I'm your host, Coach Martin. Today, the topic we're going to talk about, now what? Now, when I was thinking about this and I was putting it, the thoughts to paper, this part really excited me because I get a lot of people that come to me, even especially at church. I'll get men that'll come up and say, hey, I'm thinking about this, or I'm thinking about that, or hey, this was in my heart. So you have somebody who, they're not yet a business owner, right? They're, whatever the profession is, so they're an employee. They have an idea, so a seed's been planted in their heart, and obviously they've probably been thinking about it for a while. They've been dwelling on it, and they're like, I just don't know how to do it. Maybe like, what if I fail? Or like, hey, I just, what if, I do this and A, B, and C, or whatever the case is. So I'm sure there's a gazillion things going through their head, but I wrote down, I'm going to give you 3 visuals to help you in this journey of launching your vision. So I'm going to give you 3 easy visuals that I want you to remember. Okay, so we're going to start with number 1. You got a pen, make sure you write this down. So I'm going to do a parallel with Genesis chapter 1 and John chapter 1. So you're probably thinking, well, okay, explain this to me. So we know in Genesis, the Bible says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. So we're going to start there. In the beginning, ... God. Now let's go to John chapter 1. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So in the beginning, so I want you to think about this, and I want you to visualize this. And if you're driving, don't close your eyes. But if you're at home, I want you to close your eyes and really think about this. So both the beginning of Genesis and then John, they started in the beginning. So think about this. In the beginning was God. In the beginning. So even when it comes to right now, this business, which is basically just a seed, in the beginning was God. So God is there at the beginning, in every beginning. So God's there with you. He loves you. He wants to partner with you in everything you do. He does. So think about that and remember that God is there in the beginning. He wants to partner with you. He wants to be, he's the CEO and you may be the CEO. That's how I want you to look at it. So God is there with you. So don't get scared. You're not doing this on your own. It might seem like you are. It might be overwhelming, but trust me when I tell you, God is your co-pilot. Number 2. Okay, this is super important because none of this works without number 2. So a lot of times I'll get people that'll come to me just like I shared earlier, and they'll say, hey, I'm thinking about, I want to do this. Hey, so many times we overthink the process and we talk ourselves out of it. It's just what we do, right? And I can go into the whole psychology of the mind and the subconscious, and I'm not going to do that right now. But we do, right? But it's not about that. It's about taking action. It's just about taking action. That is all it's about. Now, well, wait a minute. Let's go back to what I was saying in number 1. What if I fail? What if I fall? Here's the deal. You are going to fall and you are going to fail. That happens, right? But that's where we learn the things that we're supposed to learn, right? That equip us for what it is that God prepared for us. So that's important. Like, think about, like, yesterday, my grandbabies were over and we were playing with them. And it was funny because my one grandson was up here playing the whole time. And my wife's like, wow, that's 2 days in a row where we wanted to spend more time with you. And he's just getting older, right? And I like that. It's kind of fun. But think about when he learned how to walk. He fell like 1,000 times, right? What if he was like, oh, I don't want to do it because what if I fall? You're going to fall, right? So you have to be an action taker. Everyone that has a successful business, I don't care what the field is. I don't care what their background is. The similarity between all of them is they're all action takers. They all win for it. So tune out the, like, I'm not ready, what if this, what if that? Tune it out and take steps. I've said this all the time. God parted the sea when the people got up, left the house, and walked to it. So you got to walk to the sea before he does the miracle. So you have to be an action taker. You will never create a business without taking action. So move your feet. So the third thing I want to talk about is I want you to shift your focus. So this may be a little bit deep, but I want you to stay with me for a minute. So a lot of times we want to start a business because of, maybe as an example, we want to be our own boss. Maybe we're tired of the 9 to 5. Maybe, you want to take a vacation, but maybe you just can't afford it unless you put it on credit, right? Maybe like whatever that case is. So we're like, hey, I think I want to start a business, or maybe you want to start building wealth and generational wealth, and you want to be able to live a little more luxurious life and all that. I get all that. I 100% get that. But I want you to change your focus for a second, right? And I'm going to give you an example that I used back in February. I was asked to speak at a Valentine's event, and I used this example. So I had somebody stand up, and I said, hey, if we're going to grow a tree, I want you to give me the example. So what would you do if you're going to grow a tree? And he's like, well, I'm going to prepare the ground. Okay, cool. So what's step number 2? I'm going to dig a hole. Okay, great. Now you dug the hole. What's step number 3? Well, I'm going to plant the seed in. Okay, awesome. So now what's step number 4? Well, I'm going to water it. Okay, cool. Now what's going to happen? Well, it's going to start growing and growing and growing. And eventually it's going to become a tree. Awesome. And then when it gets really big and it's a tree, let's say this is an apple tree. Then what happens? Well, then apples will show up on the branch. Okay, awesome. And then what's next? He goes, well, what do you mean what's next? I said, well, then what happens when the apples fall on the ground? He goes, well, what do you mean? I said, well, do you pick up the apples and you feed it to the tree? And he goes, of course not. I said, yeah, that's right. Because the fruit wasn't meant for the tree. The fruit's meant for the people to walk by the tree. And everyone was like, oh man, I never thought of it like that, right? I try to think of business the same way, right? The seed that was deposited in your heart about this business is not just for you. It's for the people that walk by the tree. So keep that concept, because I know a lot of times, especially for new entrepreneurs, we can get caught up in it's all about the money, it's all about the money. No, shift your focus on it's all about providing value to God's people, right? So you have a product or service or idea that's going to provide value. So you're going to provide value, and you focus on that. Remember, the fruit isn't for you. The fruit is for the people that walk by. And based off of the better you do that and the more you do that, God's principle of profit following value will come. And you will be able to live a life that's more luxurious. You will be able to take vacations with your family. You will be able to build wealth. You will be able to build generational wealth. But keep the focus on that instead of the focus on that. I hope that makes sense. Those are 3 golden pieces for you. Listen, as always, if we can help you in any way, shape, or form, don't hesitate to reach out. Visit us at coachmartinshow.com. Reach out. We love to schedule one-on-one. In the meantime, make sure you share this with your friends. You probably got some friends that are like bubbling up on, hey, maybe they want to do a business. They're not sure where to go. This can help them. So don't hesitate. Share, do all the good stuff. And until next time, I'm Coach Martin. Have a blessed week. I'm out.